Neil here with Covers and Camo, your source for custom seat covers. Today we're doing the install on the 2022 Ford Super Duty. It's an awesome looking set, black Dura Easy Care for the insert, Max Ford trim, front and back seat covers that we're doing today. So let's do this install. All right, so we're getting started on this install. The first piece that we're going to do is this hard console lid cover. These are actually cloth seats right now, but the console is kind of a leather, so it's nice to cover that up, protect that. So I got the cover here. We'll get started with that. I've already done the passenger, front passenger there, and the rear 40 section. And I'll show you how to do the rear 60 section here in this video. The front driver seat, and then also this console lid. We'll get started with that. So I have that Velcro attached now, and make sure you get these back corners pulled out and pulled through like that. That looks good there. So that is attached up, and you can see the covers on now. So that's looking good there. So that console lid cover's done. Now we're going to be installing the driver seat, and we'll actually do the driver bottom first, but I have pulled out the driver seat back headrest. And to do that, you just need to push in this tab and this tab both at the same time, and then the headrest will lift up out of there. So we're going to do this driver bottom cover now. How this one works is that this is the front side with these buckles, and then the back has these 3 straps. And there's also a buckle on the back right here. This middle one is the locking strap, safety strap, that you're going to take underneath the seat, go to a solid bar, and then go back to this buckle, and that's going to lock it down so it never slides forward. And then here are the 2 outside buckles on the front, and these outside straps go underneath the seat up to these buckles and lock down. This is your draw cord around the outside. This is going to tuck in between the seat cushion, this plastic right here, and then tie off to this other draw cord on the back side of the seat underneath hidden, so you don't see those. Okay, so we're going to get started with that. I'm first just going to get things positioned, push this in right here, and actually before I push that in, I'm going to get the front lined up and tuck in some of this portion right here with the plastic install tool right here. I'm going to tuck that in. I'm going to get that front oriented because I don't want to push this Velcro. This Velcro is going to stick down to a carpet that's on the back side of the seat right there. Once that sticks down, it's hard to adjust the seat. So I want to get that front kind of all lined up before I push that back. So I have this tucked in and kind of in position on the front side. I still haven't pushed this back here yet, but the other thing I want to show you here now is this draw cord on the outside. This is where you're going to push it in right here, and it drops down below right here. So then we can take that around the back side and go tie that off. And then I'll finish kind of pulling this through, and this will all kind of close up right here. But that's where you drop that in that outside draw cord right here. So now I've pushed this portion through the space between backrest and bottom right there. And as I did that, I made sure that this was lined up where I wanted it to be lined up. Like this line should be right at the front edge of the seat right there. So that's looking good right there. So I just kind of held this down right here to keep that in place. Took my other hand and pushed this through, and I got it stuck to the back carpet. Again, there's a carpet lining on the back side of this seat right here. I have that stuck down to there. Now what I'll do is, you can see there's a little bit of extra fabric right here that I'm going to want to take the fiber stick tool and take this and actually push that in. I'll use both hands to kind of do that, but that'll take this in, push it in, and that'll just smooth out this side right here. Alright, so I've just finished tucking that in, smoothing that out right there. So now I can pull this out, and what we'll do now is start working on the back side. This outside draw cord, also those straps on the back. We'll move to the back side now. Alright, so we're on the back side now. This is where we've pushed these straps and this draw cord. The draw cord came around, and here's the other inside draw cord. And now we're gonna discuss how to get this all finished out back here. Now there's gonna be a middle strap. I've already attached it up, but the middle strap again goes to a solid bar underneath the seat and then back to itself. So I went up to this, actually I went up to this yellow bar, kind of a plastic section right there. But you go to one of your springs, like a metal spring underneath here. Those are just fixed. They're, you don't want to tie around a cable, obviously, that would be bad. But just go to like the solid metal bar like that, or this yellow fixed bar, it would be good as well. So I did that, and then you just go back to the buckle, and then that locks it down so it doesn't slide forward. Now, these outside straps are going to go underneath here to the front, to some buckles on the front side, and you're going to tighten those down. Now, one thing of note on here is I've left this, this is called a bib, seat bib. I've left this bit attached on this particular vehicle because the elastics that normally where you can just reach underneath and just unhook them real easy, that's actually what Ford has done is they've pushed a push pin with your electrical cable right here into that same area where this is hooked around. So to release this, you would actually need to take that section right here and pull this out, which you can do. I actually did that on the passenger side. So you could pull this whole section out and then push it back up when you're done. Or the other way to do it, and I did it on this driver's side like this, I just left these in. I didn't remove the seat bib, and I just worked around it. I just pushed those. The hardest part with that is this middle buckle, the middle locking strap right here. But it does, let's see if you can see here. You can see it comes out a little bit. So there's a little bit of room to work with, but it is kind of tight. Now, if you don't want to use that middle locking strap, you wouldn't have to. It's kind of overkill on this particular seat to even have the locking strap because there is Velcro here on the back side locking it down as well. But if you want to do that, you can just work around it. Or the other option is release the seat bib by pulling at least one of these off. Again, just be careful as you're doing that you're not damaging any of your electrical cables on the back right here. And they do make a little tool to release the seat bib. It's like a metal kind of a fork tool that you push through right here. I forget what it's called. And you can pop that out. And that would be one way to get that one way kind of push pin out. And then what you can do is once you have it out, again, unhook this elastic. Normally you don't run into that. Normally you can just unhook that elastic real easy and then the seat bib gets released. I do that on almost every other video, just so you can see back here a little bit easier. But this one, it's not a huge seat bib, so you would be able to work around that one. And that's what I've done on this driver's side. So I've hooked that up. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do is take this draw cord right here. I've tied a loop in one side, and then I'm gonna take this like this right here and then tie that off underneath the seat. And where I'm gonna pull on this cord is actually, I'm gonna pull straight back right here. I have a nice straight line to pull on. And then once I've pulled the slack out, then I'll make that turn. And then once I make that turn, I don't really crank very hard right there because then you're pulling at a 90-degree angle and it's kind of, you have the potential of ripping this. If you rip it, contact us, we'll get you a fix. But it's always better just to pull straight back and then make that turn and then tie it off. Alrighty, so now we're on the front again, and here is the buckle, and I'm taking the strap, put it through the middle slot and then the outside slot right here. And that's gonna then lock that down, and I'll pull that down. And one little trick I like to do is take one hand, my top hand, compress the seat down like this, take my other hand and pull that tight. As I do that, and then that just gets a nice tight finish on this front side, and it should finish out like that. All right, so now we're going to do the driver backrest. Here's the backrest cover. It has a rear mat pocket, fabric pocket on the back there. We're going to slide that over, get it on into place, and there's going to be this Velcro on the back side here that's going to connect to that bottom of the seat bib. And then this Velcro right here actually is going to just push in and stick. There's carpet. There's just some nice carpet that you can stick that to. But we're going to get it all in place before we stick any carpet down, because once you stick it down, can't shift it around too much. Alrighty, so when you get to this part right here on the backrest, you're going to want to tuck that underneath I have a couple of these different fiber stick tools, a couple of black ones and some white ones. But you're going to want to tuck that underneath right here using this trim tool. And, you know, I'm going to need my other hand like this, but you're going to use that and just kind of work that around right here. There we go. So it'll finish out like that right there once you use that trim tool. Nice and flush. So once you have this lined up on the back, so you like this back corners lined up on the back corner right here, and here's the back corner seam right here. So once that's looking good there, next thing I like to do is recline this seat back as far as it'll go, and you're sitting in the back seat right now. And what you can do is take your hands, smooth that down right here, so then it's just like nice and tight to the seat. And then you're going to take this Velcro and then you're going to stick it to the carpet underneath here. So you're just going to, again, pull that nice and tight right here. And then as that's tight, use both hands at the same time, keep them both level, and then stick that Velcro down. So it should stick down nice and tight like this once you've stuck that down right there. Now for the last part of the backrest, you're going to take this Velcro and stick it down to that seat bib carpet on the back side right there. So I'm going to take both hands, keep it nice and even, pull down like this, and stick it down. So it'll look like that when you've stuck it down, all nice and covered down here. So if any muddy boots or dirty bags are back here, it's going to keep it nice and clean and easy to wipe down on the back side right there. So the backrest is done. Now we're going to do the headrest cover. So the headrest cover is pretty simple. Again, here's the headrest. I have it out of the vehicle. That's how I prefer to do them. And this is going to be the front part of the headrest, this longer strip of Velcro. The back side is going to be that shorter one. Also, the front side of this headrest is actually a multi-panel headrest. There's one center panel and then an outside, two outside panels, and that make up the front face. So I'm just going to take this headrest and actually put it down like on my leg like this. I'm going to compress with my other hand as I slide the cover on. That compression right there allows me to slide that cover on a lot easier than trying to pull the cover on without compressing it. So I'm halfway through on getting this cover on. As you can see, it's compressing this headrest, so that's why it's helpful to push this down as you slide this over right here and then pull with the other hand. All right, so now I have the rest of it pulled over, and you're going to attach up that Velcro underneath here once you have it like that, once you have it over. And that's how it should look once it's installed. It looks nice there. So now we're going to put this back into the backrest here, since that's all finished out. All right, headrest is in. Now we can move on to the rear seat. So the first cover that we're going to do is the backrest. This is the 60 backrest, so the larger backrest section. And to prepare for that, you're going to take out the headrest by pushing in these two push pins, or kind of these push buttons, and you need to do those, push them both in at the same time as you pull the headrest out. So I pulled both those out. Now the other thing that you'll notice is this backrest is fixed, unless if you have, you know, the little trick here on the Ford trick is there's a little pin right here that you can, if you reach behind the seat, okay, so you're gonna have to get a little bit more space, lift this bottom seat up, then take your hand, reach on the back side, and then you're gonna reach, and it's connected up right here. And so what you're gonna do is reach right here and then pull up on this little pin, okay, and that actually then releases this section in here somewhere, and it connects on right there. And so then that releases that backrest, and it's going to make this install a lot easier when you have that backrest forward. So here's the next most important step, is this is the integrated seat belt, or it's actually not integrated into the seat, it's actually connected to the housing of the back cab right here. And what you need to do is take the seat cover, the backrest seat cover, and slide it underneath this seat belt. Don't start installing this cover over that seat belt, because you're going to run into issues right there. So just make sure you pull that cover, that seat belt out like this, slide the cover underneath, and then we can start getting this into place. Okay, so now what you'll do is take these cutouts, pop them underneath the headrest post like that, use your plastic trim tool to do that. Then on the back side, we're gonna pass down these straps. All of the straps are gonna pass down the back side right there. And then I actually like taking them through the crack in the seat right there, and then putting them through these buckles. Again, through that middle slot right there, and then the outside slot. And I like doing that first because I have more space on the outside. And then what we'll do is we'll push that through underneath and then reach underneath and tighten them up. But I'll get them started out here. So we'll do that with all these straps and buckles. So now I've pushed through the straps, and once I started them on the buckles on the front, I push them through to the back, and now you can see you can tighten them up with this seat down. Makes it a lot easier to just pull this down and then start tightening them up. So you want to get those nice and snug and kind of smoothing out the front side as you're doing that, as you're pulling these. Then once you have those all attached, the next step is to take this elastic right here. I actually like tying this elastic to each other. There's two of them, one right here and here, and I just reach them across, tie them off, and that keeps the sides pulled in nice and snug there. All right, so this is how it'll look when you have it all strapped up. I've done an extra little knot just to kind of get these straps tightened up there, or just kind of out of the way on the back there. Now what we'll do here is to get this back up, just bring this bar down to about right here. Seems like Ford makes that line right there, so you can, so the workers can know where to line that up to push this back up and in. And then once that's lined up, you should be able just to give this a nice push in right there, and then it'll lock in. I need to use my other hand to give it some pressure over here, but then that just locks it back in once you push that in there. Make sure it's locked in. Then now we can move to the bottom seat cover. So the bottom cover is just a little bit easier. There's going to be a top Velcro and bottom Velcro, and that's just going to slide over the seat. And then this top Velcro is going to stick to that carpet right there, and this bottom Velcro is going to be on the underside of the seat and also sticking to Velcro, or sticking to carpet. So there's the bottom cover installed now. So again, that Velcro came down underneath here and just stuck to the carpet on the back side right there. There was also a little like Velcro section that we needed to close up right there as well. So you just attach that together, and everything's looking good there. So we're all done on that one. Now we just need to do the rear headrest. All right, so the headrests are pretty similar to the front headrest, just smaller. Where there's going to be the cover that we're going to pull over with the Velcro right here, and then another piece of Velcro right here. This is the front side with the hook Velcro right here, and we're going to pull that over, again compressing with one hand as we pull the cover over on top, and then attach it down at the bottom here. And the finished cover is going to look like that. I got the passenger side done already, so it looks good there. And then we're going to do this. There's also a middle headrest, a real small one, that will do that one as well here shortly. Thanks for watching this video. This has been Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. If you want to see more, jump over to coversandcamo.com. We offer seat covers for trucks, Jeeps, cars, SUVs, and UTVs. So if you have a vehicle you're thinking about getting seat covers on, you need to go over to coversandcamo.com. We are your source for custom seat covers, and we look forward to helping you soon. Thanks.